as to the rest of the news, all hell is breaking loose in Europe. Streets of Madrid resemble a war zone in the last few days as thousands of demonstrators took to the Spanish parliament demanding that the government resign. There have been several arrests and injuries as riot police clashed with the demonstrators. Spain is under immense pressure from billionaires and banksters to slash government spending and pay down its deficit. But those most affected by this sort of Republican-like austerity, like public sector workers and the young and the unemployed, they aren't having it. Already, Spain has the highest unemployment rate in the Eurozone, which will only get worse with more Republican-like austerity. Demonstrators called for a national referendum to let the Spanish people, and not banksters, decide their own fate when it comes to paying the nation's debts. But those voices haven't been heard. Today, the Spanish government unveiled its new austerity budget, promising to slash 40 billion euros out of their deficit by next year. As we've seen in other nations that have taken the poison pill of austerity, particularly Greece, these new spending cuts will only make the situation worse. In fact, the situation in Spain is already so bad that the Catalonia region of Spain called for an early election at the end of November, which could be a vote for independence from Spain altogether as the region runs into its own financial problems. So where is all this leading to? Here for some answers is David Marty, activist, member of the International Organization for the Participatory Society Madrid chapter, and co-author of the book Fanfare for the Future, Occupy Strategy. David, welcome, and thanks for joining us from Madrid. Thanks for staying up late to talk with us.
Well, thank you for having me.
Much appreciated. We've seen pretty violent protests in the streets of Spain over the last few days. How unstable is the country? What reaction is there to this? And is it all a reaction to this new budget?
Well, if you try to see violence as an instability, violence would just only took place between protesters and the police on the clash that lasted for a couple of hours on Tuesday. But the real picture of activism and the citizenry here in Spain is not about violence, it's more about the deep-root organization. And what we saw on Tuesday were thousands of people who gathered around the Spanish parliament in Madrid, with buses that took thousands of people from all over Spain to join the protest. And it was very peaceful. It was very positive energy until around 7 p.m. And after 7 p.m., the police charged and to disperse the crowd. I mean, there was some small violent minority within the protesters, unidentified individuals who are completely delegitimized by the organizers. Mm-hmm. And that's what we saw in the media. But what we didn't see what happened before, and what we didn't see is what happened the days before or the day after when the people came back. And I think that the organizers want to insist that this was symbolic, peaceful, and this was not a coup attempt. And
Yeah, this is, not unlike the Occupy movement in the United States, where the media tries to make a big deal about any little bit of violence, but really there's millions of people out there. I'm curious your thoughts on Catalonia voting for independence. I was in that region a year or so ago, as well as in the Basque region, and a lot of people talking about independence even then, and that was before all this happened. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't have big thoughts about Catalonia. It's not my area of expertise. I just think that the politicians there, they see maybe a good shot to try and get easy votes on that. I mean, Catalonians in general, they tend to be very independentist. I don't know the word in English. And if they go and have a vote in November or December, I don't know when they want to, how much they want to anticipate the voting. I have no idea what the result will be. I just know that in the last protest that they had on the September 11th, there was huge crowds in the streets of Barcelona. I don't know how many constituents they represent.
Are you seeing the same kind of thing in the Mondragon region? And if not, is it because that worker-owned co-op being so large is acting as a buffer against austerity in Spain?
Well, it's very interesting what you see in the north of Spain, which has a very different policy than the other regions in Spain. I mean, Spain is not a federal country, but it's close to that. I mean, they're very autonomous regions, so they have a huge margin of policy there to maneuver large maneuver space. That's the word I was looking for. So you see in the north of Spain, in Asturias or in the Basque country, you see much lower unemployment rates.
Right.
As you said before, I think you mentioned that it was 25% all over the country of unemployed people, workers. And if you look at the north of Spain, it's more around 10, 11%. It's just a huge difference. And there's a strange correlation between that and the policies that they're carrying out. In the north of Spain, they're not implementing austerity measures the same way they do in other regions. Of course, they're limited by what the government is doing, but they're much more generous in their local welfare state, in their unemployment benefits and in the pensions. And I think that has managed to absorb some of the damage made by the crisis, and that's why we don't see so much unemployment. I think that should be something to follow.
Yeah, there's a lesson. There's absolutely a lesson there. David Marty, thanks so much for being with us tonight.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.